Did you say San Diego might dominate them?
Dominate. I think I did. See,
That's
thanks
the
for
clip.
catching
That's
that.
the clip. That's the clip. That's the clip. There we go. Thank you. We can wrap it up now. Thanks for coming on the pod. That's the clip. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the greatest time of the sports calendar. We are here, March Madness 2025. This episode is brought to you by Good Time Media. I'm Wyatt. I'm joined by my buddy Sam here, who is basically my college basketball guy, where you need guys in life that have certain they cover the blind spots for me. And this is the biggest that the college basketball blind spot has been in my life, maybe ever. Maybe since I turned the ripe age of like 10. I can't say I've watched much up until maybe the last 4 days. I'm going to pretend to know what I'm talking about for the next 3 weeks, and that's what you're here for. You're here to give me little nuggets to just pass on as my own for the next 3 weeks, and I hope you're okay with that.
This is my favorite time of the year, coming on this podcast and talking to you about the bracket and what we have in front of us. And I am glad to be your professor for the next 30 minutes, hour, whatever we have to do. I'm happy to do it. So
Amazing. Let's talk broadly about college basketball this year. Where are we at? Is this a two-headed race? Are we sitting for Auburn versus Duke? Is there a lot of parity? Where just the overall landscape of the sport right now? Where do we stand?
So I'd say up until about like 2 weeks ago, it was a two-headed race. It was Auburn, Duke. They were on a crash course for the national championship, like 2021 Baylor Gonzaga. That's what it was going to be. And up until Auburn played Kentucky, smashed them, and then since then they've lost 3 of 4. Then we got Duke goes into the ACC tournament looking to dominate. Cooper Flag goes down. Now he'll be back, but is he going to be 100%? Who knows? It'll be very interesting to see these teams, how they kind of come back from this. That being said, that opens the door for a lot more teams. And I will say, I'll give a cliffhanger right off the bat. Neither of these two teams I have winning it this year. Neither of these two teams.
There we go.
Yeah.
You are notably I don't want to say you have a bad track record,
The
but
worst. Yeah.
you've had some moments on this show where every time you're emphatic about something, I gotta fade you. I think it was
No.
last year you had obviously Kentucky guy, but I think last year you were like, this is the team. This is the Kentucky team to do it. And then obviously that one backfired. So
Yeah.
I'm keeping that in mind, and the audience should keep that in mind. No matter how emphatic you get, I trust you. I trust your knowledge. But this is March, and time or your history has said to fade you. But do you want to say right now who that team is for you? And I'm going to assume.
Good call. Great call. It is the Florida Gators. They look like
Okay.
the best team in the nation right now. I clocked them a couple weeks ago. I kind of put my stamp on them. Now I'm kind of a little bit worried because now everybody is doing the same thing as me. So that is not a very good sign. Although, last year everybody thought it was going to be UConn. Look where it turned out to be. But I will say, even with the whole public being on it, I like Florida to win this year. We can just pencil that in. Start from the championship and then move out. That's what we're doing. And
Yeah.
yes, I will say something. So last year I had New Mexico going to the Final Four, and that was a viral clip. I looked at your post afterwards. I'm trying to get rid of the comments that say make microphones more expensive because
That's never gonna happen. Trust me, I've been in this game too long. That's the number one clip. If you have a microphone in front of you and you post it on any social platform, that is the number one comment. No matter if they disagree with you, it's make microphones more expensive. Newsflash, everybody, this is like a $15 Amazon mic. If you can't get one of these, you got a problem. So it's not that expensive.
I just dusted off my old blue snowball microphone for this episode, so this one isn't very expensive either. So maybe they should, maybe they shouldn't, whatever. But I am trying to prove myself after last year. No more fading Sam. No more fading Sam. I'll say that.
Okay.
So
This is a legacy year for you. You're putting your legacy on the line.
putting it all on the line this year. So that being said, another rule. We'll get into all the rules here in a minute. I'm allowing myself one Mountain West win. I'm addicted to betting Mountain West teams to go far. For some reason, it's every year. Teams not named San Diego State do not perform. and I've been denying it my whole life. But this year, I'm realizing it. No Mountain West. I'll give me one win. One win.
Okay. I like that. And so I think the best way to do this is let's real quick talk about the selection show and the bracket as a holistic thing, like what stands out from just the bracket. And then I'll kind of hand the reins over to you and you can go through matchups you like, rules, whatever you want to do. But when the bracket got revealed just about an hour ago, what stood out to you? What was an oh shit moment? What was a oh this bracket's loaded moment? What stood out to you during that selection process?
I'd say the number one thing that stuck out to me was them calling Auburn the number one overall seed, then proceeding to give them the bracket of death, because that bracket is unbelievable. We'll get into the matchups. The second round game that it's looking like could be a fun one,
Mm-hmm.
especially where it's at. And yeah, I mean, this bracket is unbelievable. Maybe on the bottom half is a little bit better, but I couldn't believe they gave him that bracket. That and then Duke. This is what it's not the NCAA tournament without Duke having an easy bracket. So they got that. But that I was very surprised by that. Obviously, there was that fourth number one spot. It was kind of up in the air before today, but Florida kind of proved to be that last number one seed. So that wasn't as surprising as it would have been yesterday. But
Fair enough. Okay, so where do you want to start? Do you want to establish some rules here? Do you want to look? You want to go region by region? I'll kind of hand the keys over to you. What's the path here? How do we want to go through this?
So I spent all day taking notes, and I sent you a picture of this today. I was taking notes. I was making rules in my head, and let's start with that, okay?
Okay.
So I was burned last year by the Mountain West, and New Mexico. I'm sorry, Mountain West. New Mexico ruined it for all of you guys. So this year, like I said, giving myself one win. High offensive efficiency, low defensive efficiency. I'm gonna pick one of them to be upset first round. And I narrowed that down to 3 teams: Missouri, Purdue, and unfortunately Kentucky. We'll get into which one it's going to be, but one of those teams is going down. Winner of the Big Ten tournament is being written off this year. So I'm
Okay.
sorry, Michigan, but you're done. I look back at the last 4 Big Ten tournament winners. You had Illinois, they kind of broke the mold last year going to the Elite Eight. You had Iowa, you had Purdue the year before, Fairleigh Dickinson. Iowa the year prior to that, lost in the first round. I am fading the Big Ten tournament winner this year. Michigan, you are not going far in my bracket. Bad shooting teams, I'm not in love with them either. St. John's, Michigan State, Texas A&M, Illinois. Sorry, guys, not in love with you. And good free throw shooters, I do like Wisconsin, Gonzaga, Arizona. So those are my rules. Those are my rules.
I like it. I like it. You're establishing a groundwork where, all right, this is your formula moving forward. That's good. That's good.
Now, I said that. I need you to keep me on track if I go off these.
I got him. I got him written down. I'm ready to go.
Okay. Perfect. But
do you want to start in the South?
Let's start with the South. Let's do it.
Okay.
So, you want to name this is your. I don't want to overtake. I get excited during March Madness. You're the host.
This is your time to overtake. You are the host now. This is your show. I'm a listener. I'm an active listener. You tell me what I need to know, and we'll go from there.
Okay, perfect. So Auburn versus a 16 seed. They've been bad. Lost 3 out of 4. Not ready to give that to a 16 seed. So let's move on. Auburn Tigers. Louisville versus Creighton. This game is in Lexington, Kentucky. They put Louisville as an 8 seed who is ranked, I don't care about the AP top 25, but they are a top 15 team. They're an 8 seed against Creighton. Give me Louisville.
I think that could be the game of the first round. For what I know, I don't know shit about shit. That's the first round of 64 game I want to watch the most. I'm very excited about that one.
It'll be a lot of fun. Look, Louisville is a fun team to watch. Pat Kelsey comes in from Charleston, just turns them around completely. They've been dealing with injuries all year. somehow, well, the ACC is weak, but even in the ACC being weak, they dominated. They did really well in conference play. They got a really good roster, Chucky Hepburn being the best. All-American Chucky Hepburn. I don't know if you remember him much from Wisconsin, but
Yeah.
he was the most erratic player you've ever seen. And he's coming in and he took over the lead guard position at Louisville, and he's done spectacular. That takes a lot for me to say that, by the way. But
And my younger brother is a huge Louisville fan, so I've been hearing about them all year. So that's why I'm a little biased towards them, because I know all those names that you just mentioned because of him. And the little the Rain guy who's hurt, I think, right now.
yeah,
Little Australian.
Rains threes. He just drains them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're great. Creighton also has a good roster. I mean, bringing back Stephen Ashworth, who's at this point, I think he's got to be like 28 and married with kids. Then Ryan Kalkbrenner down low. Like they're a good team. It's a bad matchup in a bad city. So, but
I like that.
moving on, this is the matchup. Okay, okay.
All right,
Bear with me.
careful.
I might get emphatic if you're okay.
I love it. Permission granted.
Permission. Okay, so UC San Diego taking on Michigan. Like I said before, my rule, I'm fading the Big Ten tournament winner. I'm sorry, Michigan, but this is your time to die, because the Tritons over in San Diego, they turn you over more than just about anybody in this tournament. They have, fifth in the nation in steals, going up against a Michigan team who's 346th in the nation in turnovers. They might dominate them. The only thing that's going to kill them is Michigan plays 2 7-footers, and San Diego can't really match up with that. That being said, you can't really look at these matchups like that. If you do, you're not going to have any upsets. So I'm all in on the Tritons this year.
Did you say San Diego might dominate them?
Dominate. I think I did. See,
that's the clip. That's the clip. That's the clip. That's the clip. There we go. Thank you. We can wrap it up now. Thanks for coming on the pod. That's the clip. That's it. That's all I needed. You're like a little puppet. I just wait for you to say something pretty crazy that people aren't going to like, and then clip it and done.
I did tell you I was going to get emphatic there. I did tell you.
Yeah. And I granted permission, so that's on me too. I'm culpable as well.
No, I do like this Triton team. They have been very good all year. Kind of took over that Big West. There was also, there was 2 teams that were buying for a bid in the tournament, and Irvine came up short. You could have seen them maybe as a bubble team, but bubble was kind of stacked this year and just didn't happen. So the Tritons, they get in, they get a good matchup in my opinion for their strength being turning people over, and Michigan doesn't take care of the ball well. I like it. That being said, this is probably one of the ones that everybody's going to pick, and here I am on that side too. So if you want to fade me there. Texas A&M and Yale is another one. Give me A&M. They're just so physical, so tough. They don't shoot well. I know I said that. They don't shoot well, but give me the Aggies here. Wade Taylor's, he's really good. He's got to get something together in this last year. He has. All-time leader in the SEC in points, and nothing really to show for it in the tournament.
All-time SEC point leader?
Yeah.
Wow. That's how do I not know this guy?
Wade Taylor is awesome. He's an incredible guard. And they keep saying that in the games. Now I think of it. Pete Maravich played at LSU. I'm not going to get into the weeds of it. Just go with it. That might be another clip-worthy moment. Wade Taylor and the Texas A&M Aggies move on. Ole Miss versus the Plain. All right. So, okay, this is something I should have brought up at the beginning of the podcast. UNC getting in.
Oh.
Chairman of the committee being UNC's AD. What are your thoughts? I know you like drama. You're the biggest Bachelor fan on earth.
Yeah. I mean,
give me your thoughts.
To say there's no bias involved in the committee, that's the point of a committee. Committee is inherently biased and it creates drama. Drama is good for the sport. So, all things considered, no one wants we don't want the perfect AI like automated bracket. We don't actually want that. We say we want that. We want the top 68 teams to be super clear and no discussion about the bubble. We love the bubble. Everyone loves the bubble. Don't pretend to not love the bubble. So when stuff like this happens and everyone gets upset about it, guess who's happy about it? NCAA, all of March Madness. You want people upset about it. You don't want, all right, we have the teams. It's done. No one cares. I want to discuss why the Hoosiers, who, whatever, should get in. I want IU fans to be pissed. You want UNC fans to be like, we're better, even though we won like one good game all year. That's what you want. You want the drama, and people pretend that they want this perfect system. It's boring. Perfect systems are boring, and I like the drama. As a guy who is not a pure college basketball enthusiast in the sense where I watch every week. So that's where I'm coming from, where I think a lot of people get fake mad. I understand as if you're an actual fan of the team that got left out, yeah, be pissed. But the people who aren't fans of any of them and then get mad on behalf of other teams, I think it's just a fake mad. They don't really care.
Yeah, it's fake mad.
Yeah.
Who cares? It's first four. I mean, UNC is not good. Let's call it what it is. UNC is not good. Like you said, they played one of the toughest non-conference schedules in the country, and they had a 2-point win against UCLA, and that's what they came out with. It's funny how they got this spot because it is just them losing good games, and that's the only reason they got here.
Good losses. Good losses. Yeah, that's the Notre Dame football staple. Good losses.
Yeah, but yeah, I like what you said there. The bubble is just a world of hypotheticals. If you follow Lenardi, you follow all these people. They're just guessing too. They don't know. Mm-hmm. So you don't know where these teams were placed throughout the year. That being said, they're running into a good San Diego State team. I don't think they even get past them. I don't think they get out of Dayton.
Okay.
So Ole Miss runs through this one. They're a good team coached by a good coach and Chris Beard, who are going to defend the crap out of you. They got a 7-footer Malik Dia who can run the floor. He can dunk on your face. They're good. They're very good, and I think they're one of the more slept-on teams in this tournament. Iowa State, Lipscomb. I got a stat from Iowa State. They returned 74% of their production last year from a team that was a 2 seed and went to the Sweet 16. They had a lot of injuries down the stretch. They were a top 5 team for most of the year. I think they even lost 3 in a row or 3 out of 4 middle of the year there. Things got dicey, but this is a team with a lot of experience that has been there before. I like the Cyclones.
All right. Did I see that they had someone get hurt or who's going to be out for this tournament? I thought I saw it on Bracketology. They were talking about it, but I don't know.
Yes.
Not to throw a wrench into your stats.
A wrench. No, I did. So they've been without Gilbert for a while now. I don't know if he was ruled out for the tournament.
Okay.
So barring that, I like the Cyclones. And that really could screw up the rest of my bracket. No spoilers. But this is a veteran team. I think they can deal with a guy going down. They have depth. They have one of the best backcourts in the country. I think they can deal with it either way. Okay, so this one I'm excited for. It's Marquette, New Mexico. New Mexico has really hurt me.
Your old friend, New Mexico.
Yeah, they really hurt me. They found their way back in the tournament. Bumping a seed line. Now they're a 10 seed. Donovan Dent is back, and he's been playing like an All-American. They're going up against Marquette, who they lost Tyler Kolek in the offseason. They got Cam Jones now, who has really stepped up. He's playing like a first-team All-American, so this is going to be a fun game. If you want to watch Louisville Creighton, after that, turn on Marquette, New Mexico, because that is going to be incredible ball. Just 2 guards going at each other for 40 minutes. Whoever comes out top, I don't know. This is one of those games. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like a 2-point spread. I think did they release the odds to this yet?
No, not yet, because they don't have times yet. It might be out as we're recording this.
Okay.
I can try to check real quick, but are you going to do it again? Are you gonna go back to the New Mexico waters?
No chance. No chance in hell. Give me Marquette. I can't do this again. I cannot do this again because I know if I break and I give the Lobos another win, I'm gonna have them going way too far. So give me the Golden Eagles here.
Okay.
Cam
They don't
Jones is unbelievable.
They don't have lines for the first round yet. They do have lines for first four. Based off what you said earlier about UNC, they are 4-point favorites against San Diego State. So you like San Diego State?
Hammer +4 there.
All right.
Hammer +4.
All right. So that's the first one I'm putting on you. That's your money on the line.
By the way, we're almost through the first region. Did you put in your future this year?
I don't have a future this year. It'd be disingenuous. It'd be disingenuous to not have a future. But I do want to say I did have a certain team that I'm a fan of that has become a bit for a while now, and they may have gotten into the tournament. They may be playing in Dayton, but don't be surprised if we win a game or two and then the hook'ems start coming out. So,
okay.
You know what? You just convinced me. I'm throwing 5 on Texas to win. I need to have a future. I gotta go back in. I'm in. I'm back in. Damn it. Yeah, that's a good call.
March does things to people. I can't describe it, but
it does. I'm doing it right now. I'm throwing the future. The odds have to be insane on this. I just want to win 2 games so I can be like, watch out, look out for us.
Maybe cash out, or we don't cash out.
Easy. I mean, like we say we don't cash out, but if it's there.
All right, yeah.
All right, I'll place that after the pod, but Hammer, my future is now Texas. Thanks for the reminder. Honestly, that's how checked out I've been of college basketball. I didn't even have a future.
It's all right.
But now I do. Now I do. Thank you.
Horns up. Horns up.
Hook 'em.
Okay, then Michigan State, Bryant.
Yeah.
In Michigan State. I don't know if you want me to do it because, I mean, I might as well at this point. But I never, when I go through these brackets, I don't have the heart to give a 16 or a 15 seed a win. That's always just sunken cost if it happens.
Yeah.
I would ever go that route?
No. Never like seriously going to pick that. If it's a bracket pool for money, I'm never going to do it because it just statistically doesn't make sense to. That being said, I think the way to do this is, what do you know about any of these 16, 15 seeds? Are any of them, like they're sneaky here? Like they got something there that I'm aware of? Because I feel like most of these teams are teams you don't even know about.
See, the depth of my research, I got to a couple 14s. To be completely honest, when I was going through it earlier today, I will say I know a lot of stories on, Omaha. After every win, they bring a trash can in their locker room and they beat the heck out of it. So that's their tradition.
Rules. I'm glad I know that now.
Wofford got a 6'8" center who looks like he's 32 years old, bulkiest dude you've ever seen. Goes to the line, granny style, shoots 32% from the line. Yeah. So if you want to tune into either of those two teams, that's what you got. Other than that, I don't know a ton about these two teams. Just didn't fall in my research, so I apologize.
Sidebar, I just placed the wager. It's 400 to 1, $5 to win $2,000. So thank you for the reminder. I'm going to be a rich man here soon. I'll take the extra $2,000.
Absolutely. Hook 'em horns. So there we go. Okay, so you want to go into the West?
Yeah, I think we do. I'm filling it out as you go too, so we can just do first round and then we can kind of zoom through second round and Sweet 16 because we'll talk about these teams individually as we go through the first. So let's do the West.
All righty. So Florida, Norfolk, like I said, give me Florida. I gave the spoiler at the beginning of the pod. Florida's my team.
What's their downfall? If they fall early and are upset, why?
They're one of those teams. This is going to sound like a cop-out. They don't have a clear weakness on the roster. They have great guards, 3 of them, in Richard, Clayton, and Elijah Martin from FAU that can just fill it up. And they're athletic. They play defense. They're really fun to watch. And then they got big men, one who gives a lot of hustle, plays great D, and then a couple lanky white guys that can fill it up from three and block shots. That's their roster. They don't really have a weakness. I would say if Clayton gets into foul trouble or if he gets cold, I can see him shooting himself out of the game. That's not likely because he's been one of the best guards in the country. There's been nights where he doesn't really shoot it all that well, and that's what leads to it, but hard to see that happening. I'm expecting, by the way, do you remember a couple years ago when Purdue made that run to the Elite Eight and they lost to Virginia? You remember the Carson Edwards run?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Potential for a Clayton Carson Edwards run this year.
All right. I like it.
So I'm very excited for that. Now, here is where it gets interesting. This year, we had 3 teams that started off the year in the top 10 and played themselves out of the top 25. Here's the first one we're going to run into. Defending champions, UConn Huskies. They have found themselves as an 8 seed in this tournament. That is a nightmare for the Florida Gators that they have to go up against the defending champs in the second round. I do have them beating Oklahoma. Not a great matchup for Oklahoma just because UConn can, on their best nights, they're still UConn. They can fill it up. Solo ball has actually been really good.
Best name in sports. Solo ball is an incredible. I saw that again. Checked out. I saw that 2 weeks ago, and I was like, that. I thought it was a typo. I was like, there's no way. There's no way that that's the guy's name. Look it up. Solo ball, real person. So, yeah, no, he's probably my favorite person on this bracket.
Solo ball is awesome. McNeely, former IU commit, actually. He's stepped in. He's played really well. Caravan hasn't taken that jump that they maybe thought he would. They were expecting him to be kind of an All-American type player. That's part of the reason that they're not, they didn't finish the year as a 2 or a 3 seed because he just hasn't taken that jump. He can still shoot it well. He's still that same player, but they lack that depth that they used to have. But yeah, give me the Huskies here. Fears has been awesome for Oklahoma. He'll probably be a top 15 pick. But the Sooners run is over. Okay, so now moving on, we run into another Mountain West team. They have an NBA player on the roster. Nick Clifford has been awesome. Former Purdue Boilermaker is on the roster, Ethan Morton. Doesn't get any minutes. Get any minutes. But he is on the roster.
You owe them 1 win per the rules. You owe them Mountain West 1 win. Is it coming here?
They got 4 teams. We've been past 2 of them. This is the 3rd. I can't do it. Give me the Memphis Tigers here. I can't do it.
So by the rule of, I don't know, math deduction, we have 1 more, which I don't know who they are off the top of my head. Is that going to be your Mountain West team? Who's left?
The Utah State Aggies in the Midwest
all the way.
Region.
That would be one of the last games we talk about, but that's going to be your one. Okay,
that's going to be my one. Pencil that one in. I'll talk about it when we get there. But Mountain West, that one team, this would be a pick I would make, Colorado State to win. But with my rule, I'm not going to go against it. Give me the Tigers. They're bigger. Tyrese Hunter's injury is concerning. I don't know when he's coming back. I don't think they've released that, but he was out today. They don't have him. It's going to be difficult for him, but PJ Haggerty has been awesome. Their bigs, Dane Danger has been huge for them down the stretch. I think they might just outbig the Rams here. And also, I just can't pick them. I really want to. Didn't do it. Maryland Grand Canyon. Okay, so Maryland was at risk of losing first round today, but they lost the Big Ten tournament, so they're good. I'm gonna advance them here. Had they have beaten Michigan today, I would have had Grand Canyon winning.
Okay,
the rules. the rules. Just follow them blindly.
Now we're approaching another rule here because Missouri is someone you are not sold on, according to the rules. Is that
Yeah,
going to be enough to pick Drake here?
this is the one. This is the
Okay.
one with the great offense, bad defense. Give me the Drake Bulldogs. Ben McCollum coming over from Southwest Missouri State, Division II. Won like 4 of 5 Division II titles before coming over to Drake. Brought the entire team with him, and they've been awesome. They run one of the slowest paced offenses in America, but they got one guy, Bennett Sturts, that can fill it up from 3. They play defense. They're very fundamental. Missouri likes to get out and run and shoot. I think they slow it down just enough and beat the Tigers here.
I like it.
Especially if Mark Mitchell is out. Mark Mitchell's been one of Missouri's best players, and he missed the game against Florida in the SEC tournament, and it showed because they got beat by about 15. And I mean, it's Florida, but if he's back, it might make it a different game. But give me the Bulldogs anyway. Texas Tech has been awesome too. This is a team I want you to look out for because Texas Tech, they can shoot it from 3. They brought in JT Toppin from New Mexico. They brought him over, and he's been their best player.
You're finding a way. You're finding a way to still pick New Mexico. In your heart of hearts, you want to.
I want to so bad. I want to so bad. But give me Texas Tech in this game. JT Toppin's been awesome. Red Raiders have been great this year. Okay, storyline game.
This gets fun. Things get fun here.
Yes, very fun. I want back to the drama. I want your opinion on this before I get into it. Rick Pitino, John Calipari, or I'm looking ahead. Bill Self, John Calipari. Yeah. What do you think about it?
But yeah, that quad, you get
that quad.
3 of probably the greatest coaches of all time. And I think we should just say whoever comes out of here, greatest coach of all time.
We're ready for that?
I'm ready for it because personally, I think it probably is Pitino, to be honest.
Okay.
And I don't know how you stand because you're a Kentucky guy. I don't know what your Pitino thoughts are. I think it is Pitino, so him being the 2 seed here helps, and he should be the favorite to be the best coach out of that region. But if Calipari or Self wants to pull together something, and obviously Izzo's up there, who is also, I think, in that conversation of just this era, maybe not all time, I don't know. But yeah, I say why not? Whoever comes out of this, whoever makes Sweet 16 out of that group, best coach of all time.
So I don't know if you follow wrestling at all or
no.
anything about it. John Calipari has turned into the bad guy and made his heel turn in my heart.
Okay.
Rick Pitino is now one of my favorite coaches of all time. If you haven't seen, he came back. He's all behind Mark Pope this year. He's saying he'll give him any amount of money for NIL for any player in the country. And he's working his side gig as Kentucky's assistant head coach. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. If you haven't seen it, he said he is fully behind Mark Pope as Kentucky's basketball coach. Roots
just to screw over Calipari, or like what's his motive there?
He hates John Calipari more than any human being on earth. And it is the funniest thing you've ever seen in your life. He has one of the best teams in the country. He's obviously a 2 seed over in St. John's, but he just can't get past that beef. And it is incredible, incredible drama. Now back to the best coach of all time debate. I think Coach K should show up in Coach Omaha. I think he should show up in Coach Omaha just to be a part of it.
Coach K can take Omaha through that region. Yes. Give him the stamp. Yep, he got it. 100%.
No, but it's going to be fun. Everybody's going to be talking about it. I don't know if the game will be that fun because Kansas and Arkansas are both kind of bad, and they're not a lot of fun to watch. I'd say Kansas is more fun to watch than Arkansas because they just play an archaic offense. But give me Arkansas. They've turned it around a little bit at the end of the year. Boogie Flanders coming back. That might disrupt chemistry a little bit, but they've been kind of sneaky on a run to finish out SEC play. And St. John's, because there's nothing more that I want than to see John Calipari versus Rick Pitino in the NCAA tournament.
That'd be so good. It'd be great.
I mean, hater watch, but
Yeah. Move on over to the East, Duke's bracket. Duke will pencil in to move on as a 16. Cooper Flagg, what's the latest on him? So it sounds like he's going to play, but might not be 100%.
That's what I'm thinking. He'll be back for the tournament. Everybody's confident in that. I can't say for sure that he'll play much in that 116 game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if I was Shire, I would maybe think about not playing him at all. I mean, that's a team that just ran through the ACC tournament without Flagg. They're good enough. That being said, it's a tournament. Weird things can happen. Kind of want your best guys out there, but you don't want to risk him getting hurt again because that team runs through Cooper Flagg. I think he'll be back. He's a great player, great competitor. I think he'll be back and ready for that second round matchup, though. So,
and who's that second round matchup going to be against?
This is going to be a messy game. Mississippi State, Baylor. Ball is going to be all over the place. Two very, very exciting guards, young guards, Josh Hubbard, VJ Edgecombe. I'm excited for that matchup. Mississippi State is big. Baylor has a really good roster. Guys have transferred in. Jeremy Roach from Duke last year. Then you got Norchard Omie from Miami. I'm just going to pencil in Baylor because I want to see Jeremy Roach versus Duke.
Okay,
I'd like to see
fair enough. My bold prediction for this group, and this will be, we'll already know the answer to this by the time this podcast comes out. Mississippi State versus Baylor screams first game of the day for me. I think it's gonna be the first tip off, like 12:40 TBS. I think it's a Friday game, so I think Friday first game, Mississippi State Baylor. And again, it might already be out at this point. We've been recording, so I don't know, but that's my bold prediction. That feels right.
Love that call. Just that 8-9 game to kind of get you all excited for everything. And it's going to be a good game too. So love that call. Okay. There's another 5-12. Everybody's talking about the 5-12, 12 seed upsets 5. I only have one. How many do you want? How many do you want?
What? What is this? Just I can just choose?
You can just choose.
As an entertainer, I want all 4 to. I want all 4 12s to win. But I want you to. I need actual. Well, I need you to be able to back it up. How likely is this compared to the other ones?
I think this one is, in my opinion, the second most likely.
Okay, outside of the San Diego, Michigan?
Outside of the San Diego, Michigan one. I'll go with Oregon just because I want my bracket to be semi-realistic. I don't want to go overboard with the upsets and, put like an 11 seed in the Final Four from the Mountain West. I'm not going to do that. That's not me. I've never done that.
Never.
Liberty, though, they are the 5th best three-point shooting team in the country. And if you think about the formula, there's a couple different ways that you can pull off that upset. You can get hot from 3. You can, just freak out the other team just by hitting a million of them, or you can really grind it out, slow it down, and just kind of kill them slowly. Liberty can do that. I'm going to go Oregon just based off size, and they have a couple really good shooters, and Shellstat, he can really fill it up. So I'm going to stick with that. Give me the Ducks, but I will say that is upset watch for sure. The Flames can get hot. Can get hot.
Nice. Confirmed. Flames hot.
Flames hot.
Yep.
Arizona, Akron. This Akron Zips team I fell in love with doing research. Okay. All of the metrics. I went through, I put together things that are important to me. I looked at their offensive efficiency, defensive efficiency, offensive rebound, free throw percentage, 3-point, and their pace. I said a lot of things there, but hear me out.
Okay.
Akron checked the box on everything except defensive efficiency, which, out of all of that, 5 out of 6 isn't bad. 5 out of 6 isn't bad. They are fast. They hit their free throws. They shoot well from 3, and they get second chance points off of offensive rebounds. That is going to disrupt Arizona. 2 iffy guards in Love and Jaden Bradley. No disrespect, but they can kind of be erratic at times. Arizona started off the year pretty bad. I know they played a good non-con. They got back into it, but I like the Zips. I fell in love with them going into it. I didn't know what seed they were going to be, who the matchup was going to be, but I kind of was like, I want to advance them no matter what. And that kind of was the reason I was not picking Liberty, just because I don't want a 12-13 there. Just optics,
Gotcha.
straight optics there. But yeah, give me the Zips there.
All right.
BYU and VCU is going to be fun. That's another
Fun. Just
asterisk
all right. Fun.
Fun. Just fun. Yeah, no, I'll make the prediction.
Yeah.
BYU is maybe the hottest team in the country. They got it moving. I think it started when they beat Kansas on the road, just annihilated them. Complete and utter annihilation. And this is before everybody knew Kansas was awful. Igor Demon, who's going to be a lottery pick on BYU. Richie Saunders, he's a Mormon kid, senior. He was this close to coming to – yeah, exactly. It's shocking, but this close to coming to Kentucky. So I researched his game a little bit.
All right.
Can fill it up from 3. He's been dropping just 25 points like it's nothing. And he's been a big part of them getting hot. That being said, VCU is incredible defensively. So it's, great offense versus great defense. Who's going to break? Give me VCU, the Rams.
Okay.
Give me the Rams.
Defense over offense there. Defense wins championships.
That is true. And how much Wisconsin have you watched this year?
Less than 4 total minutes.
Less than 4. Okay, we can.
They have that one guy. They have that one guy who's a bucket. What's his name? OG.
So close.
Angie.
Tanjay. John Tanjay.
That one. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yep. I know all about his game. Love him.
He's unbelievable. He's an unbelievable player. Wisconsin plays a different brand of basketball. They just, they've been playing the slow pace defense first for years. Greg Gard kind of came in this offseason and said, let's change it all up. Let's shoot a lot of threes. Let's give in to modern basketball a little bit. And here we are. They're a 3 seed. They got one of the best players in the country in John Tanjay. He's a March player. He's going to be somebody that we're going to look back on this tournament and say, remember those games from John Tanjay. So give me the Badgers here.
All right. I like it.
St. Mary's versus Vanderbilt is very interesting because what did I say about BYU, VCU, offense versus defense? Now I'm going to contradict myself, and I'm going to give Vanderbilt the win here. I don't believe in St. Mary's at all. I can't tell you why. I see them. They don't pass the eye test. Not a fan. Vanderbilt has some really good wins against Tennessee and Kentucky this year. They played in a tougher conference, much more tested. I like the Commodores out of Nashville.
All right. And then penciling in Bama over Bobby Moe, Robert Morris.
That's correct. Yeah.
All right. And then we'll pencil in Houston over a team I had never heard of, SIU Edwardsville. Good for them. Welcome to the tournament. Won't last long. Houston moves on.
Hey, they got my favorite thing about March Madness, and this can usually buy you a win or two, is if you have a really cool shot to your team in a stadium celebrating them calling your name. That could buy you into the round of 32. at least.
Yeah, I don't
So
disagree.
they
Fun
got their
8-9
shot.
here, I think. Gonzaga, Georgia. There was a stat they said about Georgia. They hadn't won an NCAA tournament game in like 23 years. That's crazy.
Is that
Nuts.
right?
And then Gonzaga's made like 6 straight Sweet 16s.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's cool. It's the game of the Bulldogs. We got two Bulldogs
Yeah.
going off against each other. So that's a cool story. But like I said, it's Gonzaga, started the year top 10. Now they're unranked. It's an interesting matchup between the two because Georgia has played in the SEC. They benefited off the tough schedule. Gonzaga played in the West Coast, and they've been hurt by their very easy schedule. So, whichever way you want to go, I'm going Gonzaga. The metrics love them. If you look at, Bart Torvik, I think they're still top 10 in the country in metrics. And
Oh,
so, I mean, they're an 8 seed, maybe undervalued here. I like them to move on, and I like them to give Houston a run for their money. So,
okay.
be interesting there.
Clemson has one of my favorite people that I don't know the name of in this tournament. The little tubby white kid, number 4, I
Ian
think.
Shefflin.
Yeah,
Ian
I
Shefflin.
like watching him play. He reminds me of every kid I played with growing up, like 7th, 8th grade.
Oh
Like the
yeah.
kid as you're going through puberty a little bit, and like you have that stretch 4 kid who's just a bucket.
Oh
That
yeah.
guy, I don't know if he can shoot like that, but I'm just saying he reminds me of that kid. So every time I watch him play, I like him.
He can stretch it a bit. I think the coolest thing about his game is he's a little undersized. He's a bit. What was the adjective you used? Did you say he was
Tubby.
tubby?
He's
Chubby.
tubby.
Okay. So he is a little bit, but he can get so many rebounds. It'll make your head spin. Like
Good.
he'll in this game, he's a surefire double. If you want to bet there, you get yourself in on Shefflin double against McNeese. McNeese is a popular pick. For good reason. Will Wade is, he's a high major coach coming back to McNeese. He's still searching for that like surefire job. I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe looks into IU as a possibility. He can get any player he wants. If you look at it, like this McNeese roster is actually like a Power 5 roster based on the players on their team. But I like Clemson a lot. I think they're really underrated going into this. They're an Elite 8 team last year. And I was looking at it, like I said, with Iowa State. I mean, they returned 42% of their scoring last year. So, I mean, Shefflin's back, Hunter's back. Like, they're similar in that regard. And I think they can at least win a game. McNeese is maybe a little bit, they're going to be the popular pick here. But I still like the Tigers.
Okay.
Still like the Tigers.
And then a fun one
So,
here. Always is fun with the Boilermakers. It's either they make the Final Four or lose the first round. That's what it feels like. So
yeah,
this is I like Braden Smith. He's a local kid. He grew up across the street from me. Went to high school there. So I like rooting for him. I like watching him play. Sometimes he just stinks. Sometimes he's the best. Sometimes he's the best player in college basketball, and sometimes he just stinks. And but I don't know where do you stand with this matchup?
I mean, Purdue's been weird all year. I mean, they started off the year pretty bad. They dropped, and then you look up and they were a top 10 team there for a while, but then they came back to earth. They're obviously not as good. They can't depend on Edey like they did. A 4 seed's a bit high for them. I don't think they've been that good. I think they get by High Point, but I'm not going to say that it's not going to be a close game. I'd like to see the spread on that because I'd probably take High Point spread. Okay. Not here or there. I think Purdue's good enough to win a game in this tournament.
I like it.
So now we're into the last play-in of the tournament, and I don't know if you see who's in that play-in, but it's a Texas. Yep. Hook 'em horns. Hook 'em horns.
My national championship pick. People forget as of 20 minutes ago.
People forget that. They really do.
Yeah.
So,
High Point plus 9.5.
Yeah, I'd like that. I like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like one of those games that Braden Smith has to make a bunch of free throws down the stretch to fend him off. I can see it in like that. Either way, Texas is interesting. I will pick them to beat Xavier. Xavier is another team. I mean, one quad one win. They're just like UNC. I mean, sneaky. UNC gets the heat for it because they're the Tar Heels, but Xavier hasn't really proven anything either. So they kind of got in out of nowhere. It's weird. They got hot. I get it, but they're not going to beat Texas. Texas is battle tested. Tremont Mark coming in. Trey Johnson has been awesome as a freshman. He struggled a little bit in the SEC tournament, but I mean he can fill it up, averaging almost 20 points per game for SEC play, I believe, and he's a one man show on the offensive end. If you watch Texas play, he'll take a million floaters in the mid range and just kill defenses.
Yeah, that's what I've
Um,
noticed. I've been watching them all year, so
yeah, yeah,
I echo everything you just said because I've been watching the Longhorns since back in November. So yeah,
yeah.
what you
Well, yeah,
said, I echo.
understood.
I echo. Yeah.
Understood. They're going up against an Illinois team. I mean, Illinois is good. They have a lot of foreign players. Illinois has kind of leaned heavily into bringing in foreign guys and seeing what they can do. Tomislava Visic, Kasparis Yakachonis. I'm so happy I got those names right on the first
You
try.
crushed that. Crushed that, dude. Hell yeah.
I was preparing for those because I knew I would talk about them. Kasparis is going to be a top 10 pick. Illinois, when good, are maybe like a top 10 team in the country. Like when they're firing on all cylinders, they can seriously go on a run here. They looked really bad though against Maryland in the Big Ten. The game before, they almost gave up 100 to Fran McCaffrey in his last game. I don't know. I'm gonna go Texas for the sake of an upset.
Bang.
And for the sake of your future, because
Yep. That's when the cash out happens. We make round 32 cash out.
Yeah, you were kind enough to have me on the program, so I gotta at least
Yeah,
give
I
Texas
appreciate it.
one win. But yeah, I mean, they're a good roster that played in the toughest conference of all time. So that 15 loss total, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They in that season they occurred 7 quad one games or quad one wins, which is incredible. And I think they kind of flexed their muscles a little bit against Illinois, who is still reeling after a bad loss to Maryland. Kentucky versus Troy. This game I want so bad. I just give me. As a Kentucky fan, I'm praying to make it to the round of 32, and this is the lowest I've been. After that Oakland loss, that was dark. That was dark. That was bad spot. But
Tough time.
Mark Pope's in now. We got to get one, right? We got to get one. I got the Cats moving on. What?
Okay.
What?
All right.
Is that gonna get clipped if they lose again?
Yeah, of course. That's the nature of the beast. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you. You're gonna pick Kentucky. You're gonna try to sell me on Kentucky. They're gonna lose early. I'm gonna make fun of you a little bit. You can make fun of me when Texas loses because I'm diehard Texas fan as of 20
Always
minutes
have.
ago. Always have been. Yeah, no, that's just the nature of the beast. Trust me, I'm a Vikings fan. I know how that goes on a different sport. Like,
Yeah.
anytime your team loses, and even though if you expect them to lose, it still hurts. It still
Oh
hurts, and then
yeah.
everyone else just has the free for all mindset of attacking you. So I get it. I get it, and my heart goes out to you. But yes, I will clip that if they lose first round.
So on these Cinderella runs, what I've noted, the Jack Golke effect and the Doug Edert effect, like I wasn't really tapped into them because I've never experienced being on the other side of it. But Jack Kolke going, into Barstool HQ and trying to secure the Barstool job, not even the. I mean, the wound wasn't even dry yet, and the game was just a couple days ago, and he was already trying to get his paycheck from Barstool Sports. It was hilarious. But I think he's in the G League now. I think he's still working, playing
Good
basketball,
for
so
him.
good for him. Yeah, but yeah, I'll never forget that day. But no more. The bad man is gone. Mark Pope has the job. Cats got to win. They got to win one.
All right.
All right. So I think we already penciled this one in Utah State.
Yep, Utah State. That's your Mountain West. That's your token Mountain West guy.
So UCLA, I don't really have much else to say other than that they're just boring. They're just a boring team. And that's why I'm picking the Aggies here, because the Aggies can really fill it up. They play fast. They score a lot of points. I'm giving them one win. That I had to find one win for Mountain West, and this one makes the most sense for them to beat UCLA, because I don't think UCLA is all that good. Tennessee advanced. So now we're on to the second round.
Yes,
Now
let's
we're on to the second.
since we've talked about most of these teams in a little bit of depth, we'll just talk
Mhm.
about the matchup real quick. Give me your winner and we'll run through the round of 32. So, we have Auburn versus Louisville. I think this could be very, very fun. I think it'll be a fun matchup. What do you think? Who's moving on?
I like Louisville. I made the point. I wanted to have one seed lose in the round of 32. This is the one. This perfect storm. Playing Louisville in Kentucky. Auburn is the worst they've been all year. They don't look like the world beaters they were before. Give me Louisville to beat Auburn here and shock the
What
nation.
scares me there is that I want to do that too, which can almost guarantee that Creighton's going to win.
100%.
Like
Creighton
that
could ruin all of this.
this is exactly what's going to happen. You and I both feel good about Louisville somehow making a run here. Creighton's going
Yeah,
to win now. So we got to like
100%.
reverse mindset and figure out the reverse jinx of that somehow.
Mm.
But keep that in mind, everyone listening. All right. We'll put Louisville for the bracket. San Diego versus A&M.
Cinderella run ins. Give me A&M. They're in the bracket cleared up for them considerably. With Auburn losing.
All right. Ole Miss versus the Cyclones of Iowa State.
Like I said, I need to check up on that injury, but give me Iowa State. They are, they're fantastic on defense. They returned all those players from that Sweet 16 run last year. What's to say they can't get back to it? So I know I talked well about the Rebels from Ole Miss earlier, but I think they kind of are running into a buzzsaw here. If Otzelberger can get this team where they need to be, I think the Cyclones can be really dangerous.
All right. Marquette versus Michigan State.
I mean, I said that about Michigan State not being able to shoot and how it's going to affect them going far in my head. I feel like I'm kind of against my rule right now, but I do like Tom Izzo and March. So
Okay.
give me Michigan
MSU
State.
moves on. Florida versus UConn. Another fun one. These 8 seeds are fun. I think they're frisky.
They're frisky 8 seeds. That's partly what I'm most excited about. I mean, give me Florida, but it'll be a great game. It'll be a great game. But I mean, Florida is going far.
All right.
So this is just, it's window dressing.
We'll mark Florida in. Memphis versus Maryland.
Maryland is awesome. Derek Queen is going to be a top 10 pick probably, and they just put a bunch of shooters around him. It's working out perfect. Kevin Willard has got his guys on a roll right now. Picking up Gillespie from Belmont. He's been a great lead guard. I think they're going to take out the Tigers in round 2.
All right, Maryland. Drake versus Texas Tech.
So this is really, offense versus defense. I think Texas Tech can play a little bit better defense and kind of hold Drake down. And plus it's like, Drake just put so much effort into that game against the Tigers. I got to just give it to the Texas Tech Red Raiders here. The Cinderella run is over.
All right, and then the matchup for best coach of all time, Patino versus Calipari. Arkansas versus St. John's. Who you got?
It would be funny if Arkansas won. It would be very funny. I don't think they will. St. John's is really good and they're really big and they're really athletic. I like the Johnnies here, but it would be very, very funny if Arkansas won.
All right, moving on to the other side of the bracket, Duke versus Baylor.
Give me Duke, unfortunately. I mean, Baylor's good, but they have a good roster. They have not been good, but I think Duke moves on here. With Flag's
Oregon
healthy
versus
for this
Akron.
game. So
Yeah.
I'm sticking with Akron. I'm sticking with Akron. I
All
let
right.
Oregon go a round longer than I wanted them to, that I think they could. So I'm going with the Zips here. I think the Zips make a Sweet 16 and face Duke.
All right, VCU versus Wisconsin.
What did I say about the moments in March with John Tonje? It's got to keep going here. It's got to keep going.
All
You'll
right.
remember this. You'll remember this in the next month.
Okay.
And text me. You were right about this Tonje guy.
All right. I'm looking forward to that text exchange because I'll just bet is over. I'll just bet is over every round.
Perfect.
All right, Vandy versus Bama.
This would be interesting, but Bama is just so they can be so good when they're on. I'm going to stick with Bama here. Just more experience, better players, and if Phylon gets going, if Nelson is healthy, I know he got hurt against Florida, but if he is back and ready to go here, I think Alabama dominates in this.
All right, Houston versus Gonzaga.
That's a fun one. That's up there with Florida, UConn. Give me Houston. They got, it's Houston. They play great defense. They're all athletic. LJ Crider can still shoot the ball like no other, and I think they move on against Gonzaga here. Gonzaga got screwed here.
All right, Clemson versus Purdue.
Like I said, I like Clemson. I gave you that stat about the returning players. I think they can get back to a Sweet 16. I don't know if they can get to another Elite 8, but they got enough guys, and plus they got the chubby white guy Shefflin. I mean, we're all going to be fans of him by the end of the tournament. So,
love it. All right, Battle of Us, Texas versus Kentucky.
So Texas and Kentucky did play earlier in the year. Texas did win.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, of course he did. Kentucky was very short-handed. I think Texas goes up at halftime, you cash out, and then Kentucky goes on a run and wins.
I can take that. I'm okay with that.
Okay. As long as that's cool. That's what we're going with.
All right. Yeah. All good. Utah State versus Tennessee.
Tennessee, same deal with Houston. Defend the crap out of the ball. Puts an end to the Aggie season here. And all the Mountain West teams are gone. I can't pick any of them. So from here on out, I should be okay. So I think we're all
should
good.
Be all right.
We just washed them all out of the tournament. We're good.
All right. On to the Sweet 16. Louisville versus Texas A&M.
It's crazy how we got here. I said earlier that, A&M is one of the teams I'm going to be weary of because of their three-point shooting. I do think they win here. Louisville's still reeling off that win against Auburn, but they just kind of run into a much more physical, stronger, bigger team in A&M, and I don't see them getting by that.
All right. Cyclones versus Izzo, Iowa State, Michigan State.
So this could be interesting. Michigan State, here's where I'm going to use my rule. Michigan State cannot shoot the ball. Iowa State can defend the ball really well if they're healthy, and we'll have to look at that again because now I'm seeing this being an issue. Give me the Cyclones to move on to the Elite Eight.
I hate to put that in your head. I'm so sorry if I was wrong.
Oh, it would be hilarious. It would be hilarious, but
All right, Florida versus Maryland. You have Florida moving on. Maryland, can they put up a fight there?
I think they can. I really like their roster. They're probably my favorite Big Ten team in this tournament, but Florida's maybe my favorite team in the country to win this tournament. So just running into a buzzsaw there.
Gotcha. Texas Tech, St. John's.
St. John's can't shoot. Give me Texas Tech. Here's where that rule comes into play. I want Rick Pitino to go to a Final Four, but Texas Tech can shoot. St. John's can't. Give me the Red Raiders.
Like it. Duke versus Akron. This feels pretty straightforward here, I would assume.
Yep, Duke cakewalk. Duke cakewalk to the Elite Eight. Zips don't have anything for Cooper Flag. That's going to be bad. That's going to get ugly.
All right. Wisconsin versus Bama.
So when I first saw this bracket, I felt like this was made for a cakewalk Duke versus Bama in the Elite Eight. So give me Alabama. That'll be a fun game. I'm very excited for that one.
All right. Houston versus our chubby boy from Clemson.
Clemson's run ends here. Houston, I really like this team. I feel like I fall in love with Houston on a yearly basis. So every year I think it's their year, but this year I'm serious about it. I think they can do it. Uzan can get hot from three. Cryer can get hot, and Jawan Roberts can really fill it up in the mid range. So I like the Cougars to move on here.
All right, and then last Sweet 16 matchup: Kentucky versus Tennessee.
So this one's going to break my heart. Kentucky is 2-0 against the Volunteers this year. Almost impossible to beat a team 3 times in a single year. So I'm going to Volunteers. So there's I'm showing bias is off the table.
Yeah.
Bias is completely off the table here. Yeah.
Good. That's very big of you. Let's get our Final Four now real quick. A&M versus Iowa State. Who's going to the Final Four?
Give me Iowa State. Iowa State is going to the Final Four here. I really like them in the non-conference. If they can get back and capture that fire that, they were up 18 on Auburn, and Auburn was their world beaters at the beginning of the year. So I like the Cyclones. Give me the Cyclones to the Final Four.
All right. And then you have Florida over Texas Tech. What kind of problems can Texas Tech give you?
I mean, they can get hot. JT Toppin can provide a serious matchup problem to Florida and their big men because they probably haven't ran into somebody as dynamic as him in terms of athleticism and just being a fantastic four. I think that could cause some issues, but all in all, I think Florida is just too good and their guards are too athletic, too good. I think they're going to handle them. Texas Tech can cause problems, but I'm not too worried about it.
All right, and then Duke versus Bama. This should be a fun one. Who comes out on top?
I like experience in March, and I like experienced guards, and Mark Sears is exactly that. If he can kind of turn in a great performance here, if Phylon can provide just that little bit more playmaking to kind of support him, I think Bama can win this one. But this is probably going to be the best game in the tournament.
All right. And then Houston versus Tennessee.
They both kind of play the same style of ball, just muck it up defense. So I'm just going to go with the better team in that aspect, and I like Houston. Kind of a chalky Final Four for me, to be honest.
Yeah, let's see. You got 1 seed, 2 seed, 1 seed, and 3 seed. Yeah, but not too bad. Iowa State versus Florida. How's that shake out?
Florida just is going to just outpower them. The guards are going to be too much. I mean, Iowa State plays great defense. I don't think they can stay in front of Clayton, Martin, and Richard. So I think the Gators are they're gonna pick them off there.
All right, then Bama, Houston.
Bama's gonna win it. Bama's gonna get past them, and we're going to have a All SEC championship game, which people are going to be pissed about.
I mean,
but it's fitting.
Odds
it's fitting.
are
That's what the conference are.
Yeah.
Like 14 teams in.
Yeah, they got.
Yeah. So Florida, Bama, the championship repeat of the SEC tournament. Gators get it done.
All
that
right.
might not be the most flashy Final Four, but that's where I'm at.
I like it. That is your bracket. I'm sure you can let us know if there's any changes there. One thing I want to wrap up on, I think would be fun. Can you give me a first team all tournament? You've mentioned a few players that are potentially going to have that March moment. Who are your 5 players to watch out for? Who is going to have the best run?
Okay, so Walter Clayton's going to be my lead guard in this all tournament team. I think he's going to go nuclear here, and I really like him to take that spot. Now let me think. I got to put my brain to the test here. So for these all tournament teams, they usually like to keep it to Final Four. So I'm going to try and do the same. I'm going to have Walter Clayton. It's going to be pretty guard heavy because these teams are guard heavy. So Walter Clayton, Mark Sears, Curtis Jones from Iowa State. So we're getting 3 guards in there. JT Toppin at the 4 spot. Then let's throw another forward in there. I'll give Cliff Omoruyi. Cliff Omoruyi from Alabama there. Or Amori.
All right. I like it. That is again, this is the most I've learned about college basketball. This is how I do. I'm going to use all of the information from the past hour to enlighten other people for the next 3 weeks. So I'm going to pass this off as my own. I appreciate all the work you do to get all the notes together, to know what you're talking about. It helps me a lot. It's going to help a lot of people fill out their brackets. So Sam, thanks. This was fun. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. I love to nerd out for like an hour about this tournament every year. And it's one of my favorite parts of the year. So I appreciate you having me on again, and take this information with a grain of salt, please.
There you go. Happy March, everyone. Enjoy the next 2 weeks at the best time in the sports calendar. So just enjoy. Sit back and enjoy it.